Hey everyone and welcome back. So with cinemas opening up again around the UK, I had a moment to myself where I wasn't actually quite sure what I was looking forward to anymore. With so many pushbacks and delays thanks to this pandemic, I wanted to make a clear-cut list of things that were still coming out this year that we could still be excited for. And the ones I'm going to talk about today aren't the ones that are coming out on Netflix or any other streaming platforms. No, this is the big movie blockbuster stuff that we can still be excited for in the cinemas this year. I'll be using UK release dates, and that'll still be subject to change possibly with all the pandemic stuff going on. And keep in mind, if you don't live in the UK, it might be a different date for you. But hopefully this will give people a sense of an idea of what's coming out still and what they can be excited for. So without further ado, here's my list. The first one on my list is Tenet, directed by the one and only Christopher Nolan, who's become a man who can sell a movie purely on his own name as a director, which is quite a rare thing to do, but I think he's earned the ability to do so given his portfolio. He's done films like Inception, the Dark Knight trilogy, Dunkirk, and Tenet's now his latest release. The story of Tenet is still pretty under wraps. All we know about it so far is a man trying to prevent a large-scale war, with a lot of the action taking place in this sort of Twilight-esque part of the world, where time flows both forwards and backwards. The movie stars John David Washington as the main character, with supporting roles from Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, and Michael Caine. And I quite like that the trailers haven't really shown us what to expect or what the story is. I think nowadays a lot of studios are too scared to sell movies on the mystery alone, and they released way too much in the trailers, spoiling all the fun for you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going into this blindfolded, being the first big movie released, and I think it's going to be a good time when it's released in cinemas on August the 26th. Next up on my list is Kingsman, or The Kingsman, it should be more like. I'm a real big fan of Kingsman 1 and 2, however I thought the plot and the devices and the gadgets were getting a little bit too over the top for their own good, especially with number 2. This third installment acts as a prequel set back in World War I, and I think it's going to work for its own good, keeping the movie a bit more grounded, while still having some great action pieces that Matthew Vaughn brought to both the first and second movie. This prequel features Stanley Tucci, Gemma Arterton, Ralph Fiennes, and Djimon Hounsou, so I'm pretty excited to see this one on the 18th of September. Number 3 on my list is Wonder Woman 1984. The DCEU has had its ups and downs with the cinematic releases, with a lot of them leaving odd tastes in our mouth. The recent 2 movies, Justice League and Birds of Prey, both varied in quality in my opinion. However, I think most people agree that Wonder Woman was a strong film in the cinematic universe. She's kind of been that stable character so far that we all need, and I really enjoyed her first movie. Although I do think there was a lot of people praising it a little bit too much, saying it was the best thing since sliced bread. I wouldn't go that far for it, and I think it was made to look that good because the other movies that it was contending weren't that great, but I do think it was still a solid movie. The sequel adds Kristen Wiig and Pedro Pascal into the mix as well, and I'm excited just to see some solid action and some good laughs. Wonder Woman 1984 is releasing on cinemas on the 2nd of October. Number 4 on my list is Black Widow. Black Widow is kicking off Phase 4 for us, although I believe it's set after Civil War and before Infinity War. Break in between 2 wars. I think the break we've had since Endgame and Far From Home will make this a really welcomed addition to the franchise. I think the fact that it's still set in the past, not necessarily breaking into the Phase 4 straight away, kind of acts as a nice way for us all to kind of ease our way back into the MCU, now that we've had over a year since we've had a Marvel movie. The trailers look great, and Taskmaster appears to be the main villain in the movies, which I'm really excited for. I've seen Taskmaster in the recent PS4 Spider-Man game, and I was a real big fan of him, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what he can do in the big screen. We've also got David Harbour starring as the Red Guardian, who's basically a Russian Captain America, who I think will make for a really fun character to watch in this movie. There's a couple of other returning faces here, and the trailer annoyingly spoiled a couple of them for us, so I'm not going to mention them here in case you haven't noticed yet. But yeah, the film releases on November the 6th, and I'm really looking forward to it still. So next up on my list is No Time to Die, the latest and final film in the Daniel Craig James Bond franchise. The Daniel Craig James Bond films seem to have this like 50% hit and miss for me. Casino Royale was great, Quantum of Solace was pretty forgettable, Skyfall was incredible to me as well, and Spectre was just god awful. So going by that pattern, I'm expecting this one to be good again. The trailers make it look pretty exciting, but that's the trailer's job though, isn't it? But with Rami Malek as the James Bond villain, I think he'll make for a nice little touch to the movie. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this one when it releases on the big screen on November the 12th. So number 6 on my list is Soul, which is the newest Disney Pixar release. Soul is about a man whose life was cut too short before he was able to fulfill his dream of playing music on the big stage. It seems like a wonderful mix of the mystery and creativeness of Inside Out, as well as the great music and charm of Coco. Jamie Foxx voices the main cast, and I think it's just going to make a wholesome and relaxing movie. Soul releases on the 27th of November. So So the penultimate film on my list today is Free Guy. Free Guy stars Ryan Reynolds, who basically plays himself in every movie nowadays and gets away with it because he's just naturally funny. Man, he's living the life, isn't he? But yeah, he plays this non-playable character in an open world shoot 'em up game and is suddenly aware that he is in this video game. He decides to take action and not be this regular bank worker that gets robbed every single day. The trailer was really funny and it showed some really promising action. Free Guy comes out on the 11th of December, I believe, and I'm really looking forward to it. The final film on my list today is Dune. So Dune is the remake of the movie Dune, which was released in 1984, which was in turn based on a series of novels with the same name. I haven't actually read the novels or seen the original movie, but what I'm aware of is that it takes place in the distant future, almost Star Wars-ish, where there's many planets that people can travel to, where the main story focuses on this one character and his exploration across the galaxy, trying to protect what he holds dear. But the real reason I'm interested is both the cast and the director. Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Oscar Isaac, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, and Jason Momoa. A great lineup in itself, but also backed up with the director of Denis Villeneuve, who's done some really great films recently, such as Sicario and Blade Runner 2049, as well as Prisoners and Arrival. I couldn't really find a definitive date that this movie was coming out, but I'm under the impression that it's going to be releasing late December this year. But we haven't really seen a trailer for it yet, so odds are it's probably going to get pushed back. So that's it from me today here. Hopefully you found this list helpful. Let me know what you're most excited for. I think Tenet's going to be a great movie to kick cinemas off again, but I'm really looking forward to the Black Widow movie, to be honest. I've always been a sucker for MCU films. But yeah, as always, stay tuned for more videos on movies, animes, and video games. Until next time guys, take care. Bye bye.